Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I'm Gat, your host. A viewer has requested the Natal Chart update, angel card readings, and I'll also be getting a phone consultation. So we're going to be taking it off. We'll do the Natal Chart update first because that is the foundation of everything. Everything will always be referred back to the Natal Chart no matter what you do. The Natal Chart is your predictive prophecy for life. And then we will do the angel card reading. That may be a different video because for some reason, if any of my videos go a little like past 2.5 hours or 3 hours, certain things don't come out. So it's just easier to just go ahead and make it a certain length, so I don't have to go through all that problems of re-recording anything. Alrighty. Now, what we're going to do, I'm just waiting for her chart to come up. You can see the chart. Now I can see it. What we're going to do is just take everything real slow and try to explain it as thorough as possible, because the phone consultation will deal with it as well. But you can imagine if it takes 3 or more hours sometimes to do a natal chart, there's no way you're going to be able to do it in 30 minutes on the telephone. So we'll just try to do it as thorough as we can. That'll help out. Now this person has the number 12 in their chart a lot, so want to be mindful of that. And their first house is how the world sees you. They even call it the mask, because it's your out in the world personality. So as a Libra, people see you kind of as a fair person. You like balance. You like doing things like with a partnership. Might be in a relationship minded. You tend to want things to be fair. Might even have a connection with anything legal or lawful energy. Now, so that's your Libra. That's your first house. So the Libra is that's your first symbol is Libra. And your AC is your ascendant. This is where the sun rose over your horizon when you were born. So that's your ascendant. And the east point, EP, that's another location of the sun when you were born. And the ascendant is AC. Now, your Pluto is in both your 12th house and your first house. It's right on the border. So we're going to deal with that, but we're going to save that almost to the last. Now, again, I've already explained what a Libra is, and that's also your sun sign. So your ascendant and your sun sign is Libra. And like I said, they like everything fair. Sometimes they try to mediate. And they don't like when things are out of balance. Like they really want everything in balance. So not everything is always going to be in balance though, but they really want it in balance. And they can, some of them can even, some Libras might even get upset if it's not. With Mercury, they're a good thinker, a good communicator. They can multitask. But again, everything is always going to be, the undertone of everything in that first house is always going to be balance, relationship, partnership, fairness, lawfulness. And they also had a number 10 a lot. So you see the number 12, 10, the number 25. And all these energies, all these numbers are resonating primarily with their first house. Even Uranus is there. So you have a lot of activity in the first house. And even the number 44 is there. So you got Venus. Venus is all about love. So this person is definitely a relationship minded person. So they kind of like it. Like some people just they don't mind being in a relationship. They don't mind being with the person and all that. You know, it's seldom you won't see them together if she has her way. So this is a very, and that's how the world sees her. Like some people, hey, there's Debbie, there's Doug, hey, there's Doug's girlfriend. You know, like they can't, they see these two people together so much. I'm using this as an example, but they would see these two type of people together so much that they can't differentiate. Hey, there's Debbie's boyfriend. Hey, Doug, how's Debbie? You know, they can't like these people. They're just together so much, and it's like, wow. So we're gonna have to look at the numerology, but we're not gonna do that just yet. So we want to look at Uranus, because remember, Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So, like I said, this is going to be an extremely partnership-minded person. So, really, what we're interested in right now is Uranus and Libra, and then we're probably going to do Pluto and Libra. So now, just give me a second. And again, Mercury, that looks like the color purple. So that's what the symbol for Mercury looks like. The sun looks exactly like that. It's orange with that little dot. Venus is the fuchsia, the pink type color. Pluto is right above Mercury. That'll be Pluto we'll look at. And then Uranus is right above Venus. And again, all these are symbols for planets, and you just have to understand what the planet does, what it the energy, but it's always going to be different, and each house is different. So this is your first house, the way the world sees you, the mask house or the personality, because everybody seems to have a face they put on when they go outside, and then it's a different face. But we'll learn as we go through your chart. All right, now I'm at the website called myastrologybook.com, and we're looking at Uranus and Libra. Now, this represents great transformations in marriage and partnerships, law and art. Unconventional, previously unacceptable, or new ways of relating, such as homosexuality, group, or just more loosely defined unions, became commonplace. Now, because you had that in Uranus and you also have Pluto, so that would be kind of true. So we'll go over Pluto in a moment. So they say the spirit of the union, rather than its legality, is more important here, as Uranus and Libra symbolizes independent and willful souls seeking greater freedom in relationships. Because Uranus likes innovation, Uranus likes freedom, but Uranus also likes to challenge the status quo. You may therefore go through a lot of changes trying to find acceptable space and boundaries, or a working definition for you and your partners. If Uranus or Venus is afflicted, there could be problems with the kidneys. If Uranus or Venus is afflicted, there could be problems with the kidneys, but they're not afflicted. Very tolerant and accepting of differences, You have insights into all social values. You like to facilitate, compromise, and show your breadth of scope in relating, like a coat of many colors. Since Uranus stays 7 years in each sign, its effect in Libra is collective and global rather than individual. Every planet, however, including Neptune, is in a different house every 2 hours due to the Earth's daily rotation on its axis. Therefore, Uranus' position by house is very individual. So now, it would be nice if my astrology book also said Pluto and Libra. And it does. MyAstrology.com, Pluto and Libra. Pluto was in Libra from 1971 of October to November 1983. And from May through August 1984. Souls born during this 13-year period have been learning how to relate to others as equals by listening to how reality exists for another person. By listening to how reality exists for another person, one becomes able to give that individual what he or she truly needs. And by having a wide variety of relationships with many value systems, emotions, and cultural patterns and spiritual beliefs, one can grow an understanding of themselves by comparison and contrast. You will find that change and inner growth come through intense partnerships with both friends and lovers, with a need to examine your consciousness, your conscience. With a need to examine your unconscious motivations and aspects of relating. You may also have new and potentially revolutionary ideas about law and justice. Alright, so we might as well handle this right now. Pluto rules Scorpio. Scorpio rules your 8th house. Now, Scorpio deals with debt, D-E-B-T, as if you owe somebody something. Debt, taxes, property, real estate, shared resources, because that's what you're going to get when you, especially when you're dealing with Libra. Shared resources, other people's money. Scorpio tends to deal with, because Scorpio rules the 8th house and Pluto rules Scorpio. Scorpio tends to deal with relationship issues, doubt, power, sex, transformation, secrets, mystery. A Scorpio will doubt you until they learn and can trust you. Then they'll be more faithful and devoted. Now, so Pluto and Scorpio, great transformation, power struggles. greed, obsessions, addictions. So you have to be real careful because especially with how Neptune is and deals with addictions, could be addicted to anything, even to the person. That's why I said, if you always see two people together, like, do you guys ever separate, or do you guys have your own life and stuff? Even that could be an addiction. But I mean, if it works for them, if they really don't, they don't, it doesn't bother them, then that's their business, because it may not bother them. But everybody else would be like, wow, you guys, you ever separate? Do you ever do anything with somebody else where that person's not there? Deals with science, high technology, different technologies, because this person's gonna be very into alternative, because that's Pluto and Uranus. Alternative music, alternative science. You can do holistic healing, medicines, metaphysics, esoteric, occultism, forbidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, primordial activity, primordial sexual activities. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Drugs, alcohol, but it's abuse. It's a lot of obsession there. Anything creepy, cruelly, the unknown, that's all in the eighth house. And it's usually secrets and mysteries and things of that nature. But as you see, that goes in your first house and your second house, which your 12 with Pluto. But see, it takes you into your 12th house in Virgo. Like wills can be in your 8th house too. Like if you write a will, that can be in your 8th house. Being a manager, somebody, an agent, research, study, karma, business. It's all in your 8th house. So you got these situations that they're trying to bring into your 12th house, because the 12th house is about karma and endings. And you got Virgo there, but Juno means you're going to probably meet somebody in a serious relationship in a 12th house environment. 12th house environment is buildings. I tell you what I want to do. This time I'm gonna use dark pixie astrology. We'll learn what the well, let me just see. I might want to do a couple of things. Alright, I'm just looking around. Alright, so that's what they gave me. They gave me dark pixie. I didn't even ask for it. Alright, so let's just read your 12th house. The 12th house rules endings, hidden things. And that's why you got Pluto there. It's dealing with things you've hidden or your shadow side and things like that. Confined places and your past life. That's the 12th house. Now the 8th house rules death. We haven't done your 8th house yet, but we have done Pluto. Your 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. Pluto rules Scorpio. The 8th house rules death because it's seen as transformation, going from one form of existence to another. The 12th house rules endings, where something ends to make way for something new. It's clear the clutter. It's a clear the clutter house. Hidden things can be anything that's kept from others. Usually referring to secrets. Confined places are anywhere that you are contained, like prison or hospitals. But again, confined places anywhere you are contained. That's why a lot of people just say buildings, because that could be a church. But you're contained in churches, and they tell you, you're dismissed. Classroom, same thing. If you have planets in this house, the energy ruled by them tends to be hidden. And if you have a personal planet here, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, you tend to feel misunderstood. The house is ruled by Pisces. All right. So if you have a personal planet there, which I don't think you do, you may feel misunderstood. The 12th house is ruled by Pisces, and then Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and is a content house. So it's about ending karma, secrets. But when you see Virgo there, especially, Virgo's about service and duty in the home and daily activities and small children and the animals, small animals. You have to ask yourself, would a so you would meet someone there with Juno. You may meet someone with that Virgo energy, but we want to find out why Virgo's in the 12th house. You can be more judgmental of other people than you seem, and think long and hard before you speak out. All right? You can be more judgmental of other people than you seem, and think long and hard before you speak out. When comfortable, you're practical, reserved, and detail oriented. If you keep your nerves to yourself, it impacts your health. And I think we already said it could be health problems, possible health problems. Pluto in the 12th house. With your natal Pluto in your 12th house, you can become obsessed with spirituality, the metaphysical or occult. Yeah, see, that's like that Virgo. So Virgo wants to just really dig deep and dig deep. And sometimes it can be right in front of them, but there's just that Virgo is going to say, "Oh, I want to dig deep. I really don't understand. I don't understand this." And they want to keep digging, 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 digging to the point you have to say, "Okay, that's it." All right. With your Pluto in your 12th house, you can become obsessed with spirituality, the metaphysics or occult, and all that's hidden in the world. You like to investigate your dreams and can be highly intuitive. You undergo transformations several times throughout your life. You may try to hide your power from others or have more power and control in the background or by yourself. Make sure you avoid addictive behaviors. All right. You try to hide your power from others and have more power and control in the background or by yourself. Make sure you avoid addictive behaviors and don't run from past issues. Deal with your inner turmoil and you can help others. And like I say, that inner turmoil may include anything. I said this in the 8th house. And the 8th house can definitely be a very sexually freaky house as well. Because they kind of brought that out about the first house, her first house. So in your 12th house, where you're critically examining everything, you'll probably meet somebody as Juno. All right. So that's really your first and second house. So your who this person is gonna be, and your 12th house, it's gonna be deep. It's gonna be deep, and because Virgo is deep, see Virgo goes deep too, because Virgo likes the critical, but she really likes to analyze stuff, but they can be critical too, and they can like they can study stuff and pick it up, and that's why when they say something, people say, "Oh, Virgos, all they want to do is criticize," but they just sit there and study you, and then they just start telling you about yourself, and like people don't want to hear it. But Pluto and Virgo, that's very deep, and this is going to be some type of spiritual, metaphysical connection, and believe it or not, it's really going to have a lot to do with the first house, because that's the partnership. So that partnership, that Libra you see in the first house, is probably this relationship in the 12th. Now we really want Lilith retrograde in Libra. All right, welcome for Libra retrograde. All right, we're not seeing it. All right, let's try Lilith and Libra. Just give me a moment, because they keep going on. They just keep calling her a bitch. Like everywhere I look, they just go every day's a bitch. The bitch. Even the Hindus are saying the bitch. Woo. So we really got it, because you want to get a good understanding. And I don't want to start saying it, because see, she's retrograde, so you want to make sure. But I would strongly advise her against criticizing, because I can see with that Pluto energy, that Virgo, and even Lilith retrograde. Because you're gonna do, whenever you deal with Pluto, you're gonna be dealing with possessiveness and aggression. All right, so let's continue to learn about really Lilith retrograde. So whenever you see anything retrograde, in this case it's Lilith retrograde, it will internalize the energy and make it harder to express and release. So when a person has Lilith retrograde, they can go critical. It says like a uranium nuclear bomb. And they call that a psycho bitch from hell. So they keep saying this word. So Lilith retrograde, again, and we're just getting started because we're really going to go into it. But they'll just tend to hold things in, and assume they feel a relationship should be a certain way, and they may see things that they feel is hurting their viewpoint, but they may not openly communicate. They may hold it in. But the good news is that they have a lot of positive. Like their first house is more or less relatively positive, but they have that capacity, the possibility to really just ignite is there. But again, we're still going to learn more about Lilith and Libra. But we're just going to take our time. So I want to just look for Lilith because I have a lot of websites, but that doesn't mean everyone is going to be giving me the answers I'm looking for. Alright, this doesn't have it, so we can get rid of that. So now, that information I just read about Lilith, I got it from this website. It's called Valkyrie Astrology. ValkyrieAstrology.com. It's like Valkyrie, Re being RIE, astrology.com. And it's saying when a Lilith goes retrograde, and it can blow like the uranium in a nuclear bomb. All right. All right, we're gonna read this, and because we're just gonna go with it for a while. Cause like I said, when you look at that, it's amazing because this is gonna be a person that fights for all type of fairness and togetherness, but they have Uranus and Pluto make it kind of like anti, not what we consider the norm. And then they put Lilith there, and then that's when it gets like, wow, why did they put Lilith there? And more importantly, why did they make her retrograde? So that's why you don't want to rush through it. You're trying to find out the mastery of the universe. So this website is called LinnaWolfGard.com. LINNAWOLFGARD.com. Lilith and Libra. See, this one's even talking about karmic debt. All right, now let's see. Now she's saying she's saying Lilith direct, but she's saying Lilith and Lilith direct. Now again, direct would be normal. Retrograde implies something moving backwards, but nothing really actually moves backwards. But like if you saw Mercury direct, that would be a person that has great communication skills. But Mercury retrograde is a person that may not talk, they may hold it in, or they may talk depending on circumstances. So that's, I'm just telling you that so you know the difference between a retrograde and a direct. Retrograde always tends to internalize everything, and then you start getting conditions and things of that nature. So Lilith in Libra symbolizes the general meaning: difficulties in all forms of cooperation and associations, egotisms, rejection of social norms, attractiveness, frustration, unrealized wishes, snobbery, renal disease, widowhood. See, that's why that's why your 12th house and your first house are together, because Pluto's trying to bring out your shadow side. And I got a feeling this person's going to help you with it. Because, see, a Virgo will go deep, a Virgo will analyze, a Virgo will criticize. Because this person has so much going on in their first house. But that Lilith retrograde is going to really... They almost defeat their own... They defeat their own... Because this is some type of liberator type person. Like, everything's great. You know, they're fighting for all kind of stuff. But it's always going to be like rebellious. But then they, in my opinion, they sabotage themselves because of Lilith retrograde. Like even when they get what they fought for, they're still going to sabotage it because of Lilith retrograde. Okay, I'm just reading because if this person is basically saying what I just said, and I'm trying not to complicate it because sometimes if you read on, you just start complicating it. So I'm trying not to do that. So this person, because of the Lilith retrograde, they're gonna have to learn how to be patient. And I'm really gonna say it's not just a matter of compromise, because both their sun sign and ascendant is like they're just gonna have some internal stuff going on at the end of the day that they're gonna have to deal with, and that's why Pluto's there, and that's why they take it into the 12th house, and that's why that their soulmate or their partner that they're in a relationship with is going to have to help them, because this person is actually they're the worst enemy, because they want balance. That's Libra. They want balance. They want to help. They want to rebel against the norm. They want all that. But then they have an internal, because of Lilith, they got this internal war going on. And it's one of those things where they just have to yield. This is far beyond compromise, because you've already got compromise. You've already got Libra. You've already got all that stuff in Libra. Like this should be the ultimate partner, the ultimate compromiser, the ultimate peace and harmony person. But then they got Lilith retrograde, which takes them somewhere. So they got an internal war, and it's gonna really come to the point that they're gonna have to want to realize that, because nobody's gonna be able to help them. It's something internal. It's a Lilith retrograde that's gonna make you uneasy when it's really nothing to be really uneasy about. And they're gonna need somebody like a Virgo, somebody that's kind of strong, that's gonna get to them. And see, the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, so that'll probably be somebody who's strong, but they're also compassionate. But they're also not gonna shy away to tell you, hey, you got to get your shit together. And they might not say it like I would, because I'm like, hey, whoa, dude, chill out. They may not say it like that. They may have more finesse, more Pisces, spiritual, loving, unconditional loving, or Virgo energy. When Virgo can see right through you, because Virgo can see those details. But essentially, that's what's going on here. Because this person may, and I'm still reading it from that website I gave, because this person may even say, I really need somebody to be more assertive with me and back, but then they may dislike the fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just an example. Not saying that this would happen, but they might say, "Hey, I'm not that good with my money, so I need this person." Bam, bam, bam. But then they'll resent it. Like, how dare that person? And the person's kind of sitting there like, you're the one that gave the suggestion. You're the one that said to make our relationship better. Let me handle this. But then when I try to handle it, you're getting. But then they say be careful of violence, because they say on the other hand, in order to protect themselves, the person will often enter into conflicts that can be violent, impulsive, and that's why you got to be careful, Uranus, and expressed at the wrong moment. So they're saying that this person can be pathologically indecisive. Having difficulty making decisions. So this person is going to have to learn how to clearly define like what they're talking about. Clearly define it. It's written down. It's clearly defined so that if something rises up, we can go back to say, no, this is what we agreed, or no, this is what I said. Because otherwise they're going to say, yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm all about compromise. Let's work together. Yeah, sounds great. But then when you start to put it in motion, that Lilith retrograde is going to be like, how dare you? And I didn't mean for you to. And then the person's looking at you like, wow, this person really, we got some issues here. So that's a big one. That's why as soon as I saw Lilith, I was like, let me really take my time and find out what the heck's going on here. So they say this person will start to make decisions just based on the subconscious, because that's what Lilith does. Lilith goes internal. And then it just seems like it just comes out of nowhere, especially with that Uranus. So that's like, in my opinion, that's going to be a major thing, especially when you see Pluto. That's why I read it. I think I told you everything that's in the 8th house of Scorpio with Pluto. And sometimes I like, astrology is good. Astrology reasoning is good. But sometimes, like, even have like a counseling will help. And whoever you're using, just make sure they're qualified and they know what they're doing. Because there's nothing wrong with counseling. And you got Pluto there, because Pluto is very secretive, but sometimes you need to be, because you don't need people in your business. But if it is somebody, like somebody close to you, your partner, then you could deal it with them in counseling. Because I'm reading it, so it's not my opinion. I'm reading it, but that could be a major, because you're self-defeating yourself with Lilith retrograde. Otherwise, you'd almost be like the ultimate. Oh, this is the ultimate partner. This is the ultimate compromiser. Or this is the ultimate peacemaker. So in the past life, so we got to talk. In the past life, this person was likely benefiting from the social connections for his personal selfish need. The person was likely very unfair in relating to others. Another possibility is that the soul is suffering because of the injustice, and as a result of that current person carrying this trauma in his subconscious, and they are expressed through the issue of social relations. The karmic debt here is about justice and injustice, which is pushing this person to change. Because that's what you're seeing in your first and second house. And that's why Pluto is there. Because your 12th house will be about endings. So they're pulling out whatever happened with Lilith retrograde, but whatever happened with fairness or social fairness, and they're pulling it out. But it's going to take that person you're in a serious relationship with, which I am going to say soulmate. And just so people know, a twin soul, everybody basically is a soul. Everything comes from source. Source is spirit. When source wants to come to the material world, it creates a soul. Now, so everybody that's on that soul can be a soul family, soul group, soul mate. If you were to cut that into 7 pieces, so to say, that's your whole soul family. But if you took that final piece, the 8th piece, and you cut it in half, that is your twin soul. That is your twin flame. You can only have one twin flame, twin soul. But because everything's a soul family, you can have other relationships, or even great relationships, with soul mates, but there's still only one twin soul. So that person in the 12th house is a soul mate who's going to help this person overcome whatever Lilith retrograde issues they have, whatever social issues they have. Because you don't want to be gun-ho for fairness and equality and helping everybody, and then have that undermining energy of Lilith retrograde. So they're going to need help with that. And again, when you have your natal chart, a lot of information is always given, and that's why you should always be taking notes. Because a lot of stuff is talked about, but it'll be so much information that people don't really hear. And I say, oh, he didn't mention that. He did mention that. It's just you got to take notes, and that's how you get it. And it's not something you can listen to and then a lot of times you do have to take notes, and it'll gradually come to you if you do that. Now, this is the hoodwitch.com. Now, she's saying erotic astrology is actually, she says Lilith is actually a secret third entity. A secret third entity that influences the partnership for good or ill. And that's what we just covered. But it helps with your own awakening. And that's what we just read as well. She said, but other times it can be repressed with rage. And that's what the other person said about the uranium bomb or the psycho bitch. Or it could just be wild sexuality. So this she's dealing with the sexual aspect. And you're going to get that with Pluto. Because Pluto rules Scorpio. So it can be highly sexual. So the sex might be real wild or deep or freaky, but it's still seeking acknowledgement. It's still trying to seek togetherness, that Leo energy. And they said a lot of times this person can be a side chick. And you're going to see that because you got Uranus there. Because her whole house is basically, her whole first house is basically self-expression, freedom, power. With Pluto, sexual independence. It's all there, but then it's still Libra. So it's kind of like that Lilith retrograde is saying, hey, I can have that. I don't have to be in a relationship. I can be a side chick. But at the same time, because of the nature of Lilith, any energy in the first house is going to be like, well, I don't like the idea that he's going home to somebody else. So this is the hoodwitch.com. It's called Erotic Astrology Lilith Signs. SIGNS. So that's more. But I think we have the background now. That's all I was looking for. But if anybody else wants to know more, there's another one called Astrology in Action. It deals with Lilith, but they can be kind of hard on her. Sometimes people only have bad things to say about Lilith. That's not always the case. So astrologyananswer.com, Lilith. And this is Sassology.com. She says Black Moon, Lilith, and Libra. She said the uncompromising bitch. Okay, Lilith can represent raw female anger and sexuality. Whereas Libra represents partnership, balance, and social grace. So she said this uneasy mix should stir up some interesting dynamics. She said because Lilith draws attention to the darkness or the secrets that lurk on the edge of polite society. So she says Lilith is going to be that demon in polite society. She'll take a fuck you attitude and she'll refuse to act the way a nice woman should. So that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be bugged out because it'd be like, okay, sure, that sounds great, sure. You fucking motherfucker, fuck you. Who does he think he is? Like, what the hell? Did you say something? Oh no. Like when you be fellas, you know what I'm talking about. You be having that female and she be whispering and shit, talking shit about you and shit. Everything you say, she be like fucking talking shit about you, but she's whispering under her breath and shit. Like what the fuck? No, cause it's taking me back to my crazy ass family and shit. And when I used to date and shit. What the fuck? Cause you be thinking we're gonna go out and have a great day. You know what I'm saying? You think you're gonna have a wonderful day. You're trying to be the ideal boyfriend and shit. And they fucking just fucking fuck your shit all up. They take you into a whole nother world you wasn't expecting. Like what the fuck? But this is why astrology is good and shit, cause you understand why, and then you're able to stick it out more when you see shit instead of taking it all personal and stuff. Yeah, so you whatever you're doing, you definitely will need counseling, and you're gonna need somebody that's gonna understand this kind of stuff because it's like sitting with somebody, and I used to say this all the time. It's like sitting with somebody. You say, "Hey, on Saturday we're gonna do this," and they're both agreeing because that's what Lilith is gonna. Not Lilith. Libra's gonna agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're thinking Saturday comes, and you think you're gonna go in, and things are gonna be done, and you're ready to go, and then all of a sudden you get there, and it's nothing like what you agreed upon. And for a guy or the male, the dominant, the male energy, that's like it's the it it's like it angers you, but it doesn't anger you. Like the woman might think, oh, you're getting angry, but it's not that he's getting angry. He just doesn't fuck under. I thought we talked about this. Like that's the male energy because he wants. I thought we talked about this. I thought we went over it. I thought we both agreed. And if she's not like explaining anything, and a lot of times women don't, and then they will take that fuck you attitude. Like I don't have to explain it to you, or back up. You look like you're getting mad, and it's not so much he's getting mad. He's like he wants an answer, and then he's like, man, this is crazy. And like some people will deal with it and try to work through it, and other people will be like, "Oh fuck that." Now, a good example of what I'm talking about is the Kardashians when they all lived there, and this is when Bruce Jenner was still Bruce Jenner, and them women used to drive him crazy. And it was funny because my sister was a drama queen, rest in peace. She's no longer with us, but she used to watch the Kardashians. She used to say, "Wow," she used to take Bruce Jenner's side. And I said, how dare you take... I didn't say nothing to her because she was nutso. But I said, how dare she take Bruce Jenner's side when she's like the Kardashians? All you do is start trouble and shit. That's all you do. So, people can say what they want, but if they think that the hell that woman put him through didn't have something to do with him taking that final decision, that's bullshit. I mean, he might have been deep down or whatever they're saying, but I'm sure the hell that woman took him through. Because they would just do all kind of stuff. He would try to talk to him. They wouldn't talk to him. They had like a fuck you attitude. One of the girls got married and she didn't even let him give her away. She didn't even tell him. She didn't even say, hey, this is why, I would feel better. I appreciate everything you did for the family, but I would feel better if you didn't give me away. She didn't say nothing. And when he tried to talk to her, she wouldn't talk. So that shit will fuck a guy up because the guy's trying to figure out why. That's the biggest. If a guy cares about you, he's just trying to figure out why. He's not being a bitch. He's not being a prick. He's not trying to argue. He's just understanding what the hell's going on with you and shit. So this is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. And that's why I said it's counseling. Talk more about it. The worst mistake people can make is just go, that's just the way I am. He should love me for who I am. Because you're bringing a whole lot of drama into a situation. You're pushing him further away. And you could be pushing a breakup, infidelity, and they're even warning about violence. But again, the guy should never get violent. Like the male energy should never get violent just because he doesn't understand why she's saying or doing a certain thing. But sometimes that does happen, and they're warning you about that, these astrologers. So this is Astrology.com. It says, and while she is powerful, her rage never goes away. It's not magically transformed to something acceptable, no matter how you approach her. She is dark. She is the dark side of the mother-wife coin, the anti-mother mistress. In mythology, she's either a demon or Adam's first wife who exiled from the garden for not submitting to him. And well, that's not true. Eve was not exiled from the garden. Eve told God and Adam to go F themselves, and she left willingly. In fact, they sent angels back to get her, and she still wouldn't come back. And then that's when she started turning into so-called to quote a demon, unquote. So Lilith retrograde can imply that in a past life she suffered some type of rejection or social rejection. And so now in this life they're trying to help her overcome it. But they're telling you she's going to need help. She's going to need that Virgo and the 12th house. And that's where her Juno is. Juno represents a serious relationship or a soulmate. So Lilith retrograde with Pluto sees her power in secrecy. You're not supposed to know. So she's powerful. Her power arises from what you're not supposed to know. So no matter how much your mate tries to say, let's talk and let's work it out, if she doesn't get that counseling or whatever, it's going to be an uphill battle. And if a man's not strong enough, it can drive him crazy. And I really believe that helped Bruce Jenner. I'm not saying Bruce Jenner would not have become a woman regardless of the Kardashians, but if anybody watched that show and doesn't think those women played the part in that, you're out of your freaking mind. He said, you can't beat them, might as well join them. So she said to read the rest of the article, you must purchase a lifetime all-access membership, which allows you to view the entirety of society for a one-time fee of $12. Now, if I was deep in it, I would do it, because this is a great article. But this is Astrology.com. She said all horoscopes and forecasts will be free to the public. New articles are only viewable to the public for 30 days after publication. She's pretty cool. So I want to send her a note and tell her, you're awesome. Her name is Nadia Gilchrist. I talked about her before. I want to see if I can leave her a comment. Last time she got comments was like September 9th, 2015. And it's ironic. It's now September 22nd, 2017. And I'm going to see if I can leave her a comment. Yeah, she replies too. And a lot of people are commenting. All in September. And get this, September 11th at 2:17. And now it's 2017. So I don't know if she lets you, but she's cool though. So again, this is Astrology.com. Black Moon, Lilith, and Libra, the uncompromising bitch. And this is cool. But I don't know, I don't see. I was trying to leave her a comment, but I don't see where. And now it says something about horoscope. I want to see if they do today's horoscope. Yeah, well, you can create. I guess you can comment if you create a account. Leo horoscope for September 22nd. Okay, I got it. So again, that was astrology.com. I really like that website. Okay, this is Kelly Fox, astrology.com. Today you can find you in a stubborn mindset. You know how you see things now, and you certainly know how you feel. It will be difficult for anyone to convince you of anything outside your own subjective experience, but that's the key: subjectivity. You're inside your own heart and mind, and other people are inside theirs, but it is still important to connect with them instead of separating yourself based on differing emotions. So yeah, if you sign in, you can leave her a comment. This is pretty cool. They did a great job. So I don't think we can do too much more than that. Now this person said Libra, Leo. She says Libra and Libra, bitches. Now this is from August 29th, 2015. And it's called mysticmedusa.com. Mysticmedusa.com. And she wrote a book. She calls it a Bitchcraft ebook. And yes, Lilith is here. And she says Libra and Lilith or in the 7th house, conjunct Venus. And yours is you do got the conjunction going on. You got a whole lot of conjunctions in your first house. Beauty, luxury, obsessed with a distinct preference for the beautiful people. Lilith here is often a genius at diplomacy, leadership, and business, all the better to score the fabulous life craved beyond almost reason. Because this Lilith can turn on such an epic surge of charm at will, in the same way that the Marines can mount a battle if necessary, people are routinely stunned at the speed with which they can be dropped. So she's got charismatic charisma. Good looks are a weapon. Cosmetics are an extension of will. Sigmund Freud had Lilith in Libra. Don't try to lie to them about sex, beauty, or artifice. They will outwit you every time. These people are often incredible corporate players. The classic iron fist, and the velvet glove. High functioning Lilith in Libra, the 7th house or conjunct Venus, is a genius at the Venetian arts, seduction, fashion, beauty. Think also natural magnetism in the big end of town. It doesn't matter what it takes. Lilith in Libra is not remotely comfortable with petty bourgeois judgments and limited horizons, so she won't be limited. So there's another reason why, like I said, if she met a guy, she may actually sweep him off his feet with great sex, and so much intensity in sex, and then he's gonna want to make it more us, we, and stuff like that. But that's gonna kind of scare her. It's gonna make that Lilith side rebel even more, because she's gonna see that as restrictive. So the guy she's really gonna look for is that bad boy, the guy that can give great sex and play mind games, because that's what's gonna keep her interested. Like the guy that's talking about we and together, she's gonna rebel. That Lilith retrograde is going to pop out. And that's the type of person that'll love to break your spirit, like really like to see you hurt. Because that's her way of creating space. Because she doesn't know how to do it any other way. She says, what happens when the Lilith vibe gets blocked? Crazy crap like the bling ring, overconsumption, super lookus, neurosis, and doing whatever it takes to keep up appearance. For a genius performance of a Lilith and Libra going batshit insane, see Charlize Tarzan as young adult fiction ghostwriter Mavis Gary in young adult. The Lilith needs an inoculation against love zombies is from birth and coherent grip on actual creativity and art, not just the glittering overcusses that can pass for it. True art appreciation, aesthetics, aesthesis, and relationship boundaries bring out the awesomeness of this placement. Coco Chanel began as an innovator, deliberately setting her style vision beyond contemporary fashion. In her day, she may or may not have been a prostitute, spy, or Nazi collaborator. With someone as outspoken as her and whose success was so meteoric, you never know what's real and what's slander. What's clear is that her aesthetic is of the wrong end of any town. It left her a legacy as an enduring global brand of beauty and luxury. She was crazy in numerology and an early adopter of Feng Shui before it was popular, and her marketing sense was genius. She pulled herself up from being an orphan. She understandably hated class judgment, saying it only mattered that people were classy and fabulous. Yeah, now as far as for the person who requested this natal chart update, this reading, you may want to learn more about Feng Shui as well. FENG SHUI. Okay, now she's talking about fascinating Eleanor in ancient times. She was a powerful woman of the Middle Ages. She became queen of both France and England. She mothered a massive dynasty and carved out her own history at a time when women, even queens, had little personal power. At some point, she was accused of being a witch. She was described as wild and devious, and was one of the rare females to get away with leaving one king for another. Her realm was renowned for being progressive, and she attempted to introduce laws that would treat women as equals, not shadows of their husbands. Her Lilith in Libra did, however, show itself strongly in her love of the good life. When she joined her husband on a crusade to the Holy Lands, she took with her an entourage of 300 ladies and her supplies, clothes, mattresses, musicians, troubadours, cosmetics, perfume, art, and animals. So you can see here the blessings of this Lilith Supreme states womanly skills within, she keeps using that word, AESTHETIC, sense that rather than being suppressed can be used to motivate. Okay, now she's saying a writer and motivational speaker, Liz Murray, is a brilliant example of Lilith and Libra gumption. She's the author of Breaking Night, a memoir of forgiveness, survival, and my journey from homeless to Harvard. Was raised by two drug addicts in the Bronx. The book is harrowing. Murray recalls going without food for days, being bullied at school for being smelly, sans shoes, and lice ridden, having her birthday money taken for cocaine or heroin, and a litany of other hardships. Age 16 and living on the streets, she at her first saw herself as a rebel and a victim. But when she had a now or never style epiphany and pledged to go back to school and become a straight-A student despite never having attended class on a regular basis. Doing a year's work every term and going to night classes, she eventually won herself a New York Times scholarship to Harvard and graduated from the Ivy League University with honors. These days, she mentors at-risk teenagers So it's cool. She came from that lifestyle and went back to it. A lot of people don't do that. Think also about Edna. This woman just keeps giving you more and more. Think also of Edna St. Vincent Millay, the jazz age poet who became one of the very few people, let alone women, to become a celebrity in her time from writing poetry. The work was amazing. Of course, she was a hard-living sexual adventuress, feminist impulse surprise winning force of awesome. Renowned also for her obsession with fashion, she resolutely opposed sexism, racism, and fascism. The phrase burning the candle at both ends comes from her. My candle burns at both ends, it will not last the night. Both I my woes and all my friends, both I my foes and all my friends, it gives a lovely light. Alright, that was deep. Well, that was totally awesome. Totally awesome. Now it's funny because Tanya Gabrielle, she did a video this week for her Sun in Libra. And we're dealing with a Sun sign Libra right now. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Sun sign and Ascendant Libra. And I got this email at 1:07 p.m. today. It's kind of interesting that I'm just saying, if, I want to see if she sent you to her YouTube channel.
Hi there, it's Tanya Gabrielle, Wealth Astronumerologist and founder of Numerology Academy, and I'm so excited to share a free new masterclass with you.
Yeah, because this time she didn't direct you to her YouTube channel, which is strange. How to read stars and numbers even if you have no experience. So this is why you should be getting the Tanya Gabrielle newsletter. It's free. And I know I've said that many times to get it. Alright, so now I'm in YouTube. I'm going to Tanya Gabrielle to see what her last video was. Or come on. Alright, we're here. So the last video she did on her channel is New Moon in Virgo. That's why you have to get a newsletter, because when you get her newsletter, she gives you all private videos are unlisted, because she does that sometimes. So for some reason she didn't want to make it public, but I can still see it because I have a newsletter. But the last video she did was a week ago about New Moon in Virgo. But you really want to be, if you're a Libra, you want to see what information she has on Libra. So that free video she's offering is. So what I'm going to do is forward this only because of the situation. Because of the timing that it came, I got an idea somebody probably wants her to see it. Because it's all about Libra. And we just entered Libra possibly today. Recently, I know that. That's why I said everything happens for a reason. Always work with your the universe, your angel card readings, your space chart, and if you have somebody that knows what they're doing, work with that person. Because ultimately they're trying to help you, not hurt you. But sometimes we can get stuck in our third dimensional way. And that's damaging for you if it's you personally. Alright. Alright, go back. much time do we have on this? All right. Now, Virgo and Pisces. And again, because of her first house, especially with Pluto and Uranus, she's going to be a very intense person. So that means her partner that's in the 12th house is going to have to be intense as well. Virgo and the 12th house. So when you see Virgo in the 12th house, this is going to be a big dose of compassion and sensitivity. But the challenge here is that you may be apt to change your plans because of other sensitivities, sending your own life into a bit of disarray in order to accommodate their feelings about you and your life. Well, really, that person in the 12th house is helping this person because of the simple fact they'll be changing and won't know. Like they may tend to agree just to keep the peace, but then Lilith retrograde is going to make them, so they got to learn not to do that. I mean, there's a time and place for everything at the end of the day. So they're warning this person with Virgo in the 12th house, be aware of your tendency to martyr yourself. Like you'll give up what you want to make somebody else happy. But we already explained all of that. And they say, but if you do that, if you're always giving up what you really want to do, then you'll be unhealthy. You're gonna have health problems. So that's why I say sometimes it just depends. People have goals and stuff, but sometimes if you can slow down, because that's why I keep saying, learn how to write things down, because that's how you would make goals. You'll never hear me stop saying that. Just like when you do your natal chart, a lot of people just want to turn it on, listen to it, then they think they're done. No, that's just the start. Time to take notes. Try to find out what's really going on your chart, because this is your predictive life. This is why you're here. So same thing with this, because you're dealing with a person who's going to be great with working with people, but Lilith is going to make them resent it at the end of the day, because they really don't want to compromise all the time, and they're going to want the world to bow down to them. But because of these powerful energies, they're going to always be doing that. Yeah, okay, sure, that sounds great. Yeah, okay, that'll work. But they're really saying, "Fuck you! I don't want to do it this way, and why can't you do it my way?" But they're holding it in, and that's not healthy. And then that's the type of person that, wow, I can't believe she did that. Like they recently found this cop, a female cop, but she was leading a double life. Like she was nothing like the officer they knew her to be. She was like a totally different person. So that's what I'm saying. You have to come to grips with this and find out who you really are and not be afraid. So I believe that's what her 12th house is all about. That partner is going to help them, but she's still going to have to learn how to say what's really on her mind. She can't just agree and then do it her way. So now Virgo represents the soul's descent into matter. We are involved here with the fulfillment of the soul's activities and experiences as Virgo has traveled around the horoscope. This is culmination. Because the reason why they said traveled around the horoscope, because this is the 12th house, which is Pisces, which is the end or karma. This is culmination. It can bring fulfillment. The service that Virgo can render here is a soul service, a soul awareness. Because remember, Virgo rules your 6th house. Your 6th house is about health, service, healing, the home, small children, small animals, daily activities, co-workers, subordinates. So the service that Virgo can render in your 12th house is a soul service, a soul awareness, and it's helping you in your first house where that Lilith is afflicting themselves, because in a past life this person felt they had issues with social. They had some type of social repression going on. And this Virgo in the 12th house is going to help you not do that again, make that same mistake in this life. So your 12th house is about universality. And Virgo represents that divine mother. And tomorrow's going to be a big day because it's all about Virgo. Tomorrow, September 23rd. So most people will be feeling this. So this person in the 12th house is going to be helping you with your visible and invisible life. There is also an awareness that Virgo can bring to mankind, and this awareness in itself can be beneficial to the fulfillment of mankind's consciousness. So it brings a double dose. It brings a double dose of karma with Virgo in your 12th house because of the soul implication, and since the 12th house does deal with soul and karma, it is through this soul awareness that cosmic consciousness can be achieved. The service that can best be rendered by Virgo in the 12th house is indicating to mankind the balance between the two worlds, which can bring about personal and individual fulfillment to each person. Since Virgo tends to neatly structure their own world, this 12th house location is one in which the Virgo should learn to unstructure, or to flow with the vastness and often intuitive nature associated with knowledge here. The characteristics of the 12th house, compassion and understanding, are further emphasized with the location of Virgo in the 12th house. For these are the two qualities of Virgo, which is compassion and understanding. The selfless service quality of the 12th house would be based upon the compassion and the understanding, and by direct reaction to the 6th house. Those qualities would then help mankind understand life more, being compassionate, and also the Virgo could teach mankind how to transmute the basic emotional reactions to the level of compassion and understanding, putting everything on a more spiritual basis. Of course, the location here of Virgo could bring about the spiritual do-gooder. All right. We'll continue just a moment. New interest. All right. I'm gonna put this on pause. I'll be right back. All right. Now we go to your 2nd house. You have Scorpio there. Scorpio rules the 8th house. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Now, when we did your 1st house, we told you everything about Scorpio and Pluto ruling your 8th house. So now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So your 8th house and your 2nd house are connected. So your money will be made and all that 8th house stuff, which was read to you when we did your first house. So this is Scorpio, but your money will be made in those areas. And that's your money and your possessions in your second house. When we get to your 5th house, we'll also look at your 8th house because they're going to take us to sexual astrology. Now, again, because I'm just trying to say this to make sure people understand, especially when it's your natal chart, but that's why you take notes, because you already have the understanding of Scorpio if you were taking notes in the 1st house. Otherwise, when you hear it, you might not even remember. You might be, oh, like it was so much information and I can't understand it. But if you were taking notes, you would. So that's why I always tell people to take notes, because otherwise, when we try to move through your natal chart, it's going to be like, huh, what is that? And we're going to say, we just covered that. So you got to go back to what Scorpio is, what Pluto is, and that was all covered in the 1st house, because that's how she's making her money and possessions in the 2nd house. And not only that, your chart is connecting your 2nd house to your 8th house, which a lot of charts do, through Taurus. Now, Taurus can be strong, stubborn, can be loyal, it just depends, very sensual, likes massages, things of that nature, a very sensual sign. And Taurus is about finances and possessions, and it ascribes value to everything, to people too. Now, it's very unique how your natal chart takes Neptune, which deals with dreams. Neptune works with Pisces, and Pisces rules your 12th house. But it doesn't really put it. It puts it close to the border of Scorpio, but not really. So this person right here, you could tell by Sagittarius, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So this is a very interesting person, and they probably can astral plane, psychic, dreams, connections to other things, other worlds, other dimensions. This person can do all of that. Now, ironically, in her 3rd house, ruled by Gemini, they put a lot of long travel stuff in their short travel house. So that's interesting in itself. So your 3rd house is ruled by Gemini. It deals with short travel, short distance travel, communications, mental things, thought, earlier education, siblings, your environment, multitasking, creativity. Sagittarius deals with foreign communications, long distance, culture, religion, philosophy. So a lot of times when you see these type of sightings, they may even know a person who's a foreigner or foreign to them, or who's long distance, from a long distance. It could be long distance communication, but they may actually know the person, like actually be with the person. But a lot of money is involved. In her 3rd house, it's a lot of expansion, a lot of money with Jupiter. And Neptune is that dreamer. So just to get a summary, We're going to do Neptune. We're going to do Sagittarius in the 3rd house. Just give me a moment. All right, I just logging back into a couple of areas. We went Sagittarius in the 3rd house. It says you may be the poster child for the idea that a mind is a terrible thing to waste. In fact, even if you love to get outdoors, travel, or otherwise explore, you may notice that your mind is the one thing you want to grow and expand more than anything else. This passion for information may have you being a perpetual student, going back to school again and again for yet another degree and yet another field of study, or simply taking a lot of classes and workshops in order to keep your mind stimulated and your knowledge base growing. You love to learn and know, but more than that, you like to prove that you know. You don't hesitate to communicate with others how knowledgeable you are, hoping they will share their knowledge with you in return so you can learn even more and get closer to discovering the ultimate truth of things. You may also find that you don't hesitate to say what's really on your mind, and you can be honest almost to a fault. Be careful that you don't get involved with the exchange of learning and teaching, that you don't do anything to apply your abundance of knowledge and wisdom to actual life experiences. Since this is the house of knowledge and Sagittarius tends toward intellectual pursuits, the location of the sign emphasizes the quality of the mind. Sagittarius in the 3rd house makes for an excellent student and the ability to comprehend abstractions, again by direct reaction to Gemini. There is a restlessness and a tendency to become easily bored if not challenged. Sagittarius here, as well as other locations on the chart, needs a constant mental challenge. Their minds are active, inquisitive, probing. Yet the caution to be stressed is that they just don't pursue those disciplines which are just for their interest. There could be a narrowness here, rather than seeing the interrelationship of all things. The Sagittarian might tend to pursue just those areas in which he is interested in, or which would contribute to his own skill, or which is in any way useful to his personal motivations and direction. It is this location in Sagittarius which brings in the communication. Here, the Sagittarian would tend to communicate more than in other locations of the horoscope. With Sagittarius in the third house, there is a much more of an extrovert quality in the Sagittarian sign. The self-centeredness could be decreased here, for this is the house of brotherhood. On a mundane level, the third house is brothers and sisters, but on this octave, it is the house of brotherhood. One of the lessons that the Sagittarian has to learn when it comes to the third house is not to scatter his energies. All right. So again, like I said, it's interesting, but in my opinion, it can apply older guy, and it's also finances. Now, older can actually be in age, older can be in knowledge, older can be in distance, because this is your third house is actually a short distance house, and your Sagittarius is actually a long distance house. The Sagittarius rules the 9th house. But either way, she's a dreamer. And like they're saying, she loves communication, so she wouldn't mind communicating long distance. But it just implies that she's actually in contact or will be in contact with someone who represents longer or older, and his finances there as well. Because if you want to be honest, her first, second, and third houses essentially deal with finances. Now, Capricorn in the 4th house generally means a lot of work. Like not a typical family bringing up, but a lot of work, like work. The 4th house deals with your family, your teenage to higher education, land and property, ancestors, your heart, vehicles and travel, and it deals with the woman who would have raised you, whoever took a motherly role in your early life. That's called Aimum Coeli. And sometimes Capricorn in the 4th house can represent a male presence. Now, as far as education is concerned, this would be a worker. Capricorn would represent a worker, like really a person who's going to school or a worker in school. So now we're going to look at Capricorn in the 4th house. Because remember, Capricorn deals with your career and your reputation. So that's why I said this is like a business type family. And again, family can be literal family, but it can also be the people you're around a lot. The foundation of your personal private persona and your personal life is your ability to achieve your goals and ambitions, to have something tangible to show for them. You probably work hard in order to achieve success and status with it. to experience the fulfillment of being able to care for yourself and your loved ones. Your desired lifestyle has one goal: to make sure you and those you consider to be family. See, he's saying the same thing I just said. Doesn't have to necessarily be the family you were born into, but it's those who you consider to be family. He even put it in quotes. Family, quote, family, unquote. Need not struggle or suffer for anything. As long as you and your loved ones are provided for and protected, you feel safe and emotionally fulfilled. This location of Capricorn is directly opposite the 10th house, of which Capricorn is a natural ruler. So it's a great challenge for the Capricorn sign. Capricorn in this location, the 4th house, must learn the value and the necessity and the responsibility of helping others to find meaning and direction and purpose in life. Again, the fencing in quality of the Capricorn, because Capricorn is all about security, actually denies the others the energy, intelligence, and understanding that can be so meaningful to the lives of others. In many ways, a Capricorn has an inferiority complex, and this could be one of the reasons why Capricorn does not get too involved in the lives of others. Now he's saying, now this is the beginning of the second quartile, and emphasizes again the necessity of the Capricorn sign to get involved in life, to project itself into the daily affairs, daily encounters with people, places, and events. Actually, though it doesn't often appear externally, emotionality is central to a Capricorn as it is to a Cancer person. Because Cancer rules the 4th house and the moon rules Cancer. The Cancer person will more easily express it, but the Capricorn person should realize that his emotionality is part of his projection to other people and actually is evident to them as if he were expressing it directly. Therefore, the quality of these emotions should be directed towards a level of compassion rather than earthy, emotional involvement, so that he influences others in a constructive manner. So they're saying the Capricorn would have to learn how to express their emotions. That could be like the father. He feels, well, I'm working hard, I'm providing. So I'm showing them I love them, but they don't get it. You have to show them you love them, because at the end of the day, they'd rather have the hugs and the kisses and the other stuff than have just the stability. They need the emotions. Capricorn in the 4th house is in its opposite sign, Cancer, and does assist the Capricorn in incorporating or including the feeling aspect in a more obvious towards expression in the actual home environment, as well as the personal environment, which the Capricorn carries around as though through its form of personality. So that they're encouraging the Capricorn in the 4th house to become more family minded, more emotional, and not just providing the security. Or you might have a family business, but you got to remember the family part. Now, we want Vesta in the 4th house. Okay, Bob Mark, astrologer. Now, just to let you know, Vesta is the area in your natal chart where you're going to give a lot of energy. But they're telling you to make sure you take breaks so you don't burn out, because you can cause health problems. Because this 4th house, and it's like it's some type of family business, but it's too much energy and it can burn out. Now, Vesta is twofold, because Vesta can be highly sexual, But Vesta can also be very spiritual. And Vesta works like Virgo, because you had that big Virgo. So Virgo, Vesta and Virgo work together. So in that sense, your 4th house has a connection to your 12th house. Now, Vesta can mean any type of fire, energy, your own energy, fireplaces, heaters, furnaces. It can also be confined places like an elevator, a small elevator, or even like a room, a compartment, or even somebody in jail. So he says Vesta in the 4th house is somebody that's home too much. You have to get out because that'll drain you. But see, he doesn't know that you have Capricorn in the 4th house. So what it's saying is the family business. And what it's really trying to tell you is bring the spirituality aspect into it, because you're seeing the business aspect, but you're not seeing the family aspect. So Vesta's trying to tell you to bring the family aspect, the emotions, and that's what they're trying to do to you in your 12th house, because they're trying to reach your Lilith, because Lilith is holding all this stuff in, which is causing her to act bipolar. Because with her mouth, she's going, yeah, that's great. Hey, that sounds great. That sounds great. But inside, she's going, this is fucked up. It's always for somebody else. What about me? But she's not saying it. So that Virgo's coming to you in the 12th house, the spiritual house of Pisces, to teach you and help you to speak about your feelings and things like that. And then you got some 4th house issues where you have to learn the family aspect, not just the business aspect. So these are areas you would have to work on. Now, your 5th house is the house ruled by Leo. It's all about fun, travel, adventure, children, childlike ways, childbearing, taking risks, anything that's having fun. And with Mars there, that usually means a lot of energy. And also, the person likes maybe competitive sports. So that's a good thing. So that's your true north node. So we're going to do Aquarius and, well, it's ironic because your true north node is opposite. Your true north node, which you should be working on this life, is to be an Aquarius in the 5th house of fun. But your south node was you were a Leo, a leader, a Leo, or you were fun in your 5th house with a lot of friends and things like that. So that's really a unique thing because it's like backwards. All right, so we're going to do this first. Well, the reason why I'm not going to do it first, because like to do your 5th house, we might as well going to end up doing your 11th house. And if we do your 5th house, it's still going to tell you to do your 8th house. So we're going to go from here, and we're going back to your numerology. Well, give me a moment. All right, now where we're going is BillHydrick.com. All right, so we're gonna go back. We're back in your first house, and we're looking primarily at that number 10. The number 10 means strong, might, to shine, blossom, blossoming, secrecy, concealment, even sorcery, mutterings, necromancer, softly, stealthily, secretly. A lot of other words like cut off, bind, hollow, destroy. So now why are they giving you that 10? Because we learned about your 10th house, and it will have secrecy because of your internal issues you got going on. So your first house does include one side of you saying, hey, that sounds great, let's work it together, and another side of you saying, this isn't great because I feel like I'm being ignored, or what about me? So that is going on. Then we want to look at the number 12. It says to crave for, to wish, to howl, desire, lust, or longing. It says settled or decided. Vertigo, dizziness. Main thing was it was saying a lot about like long for or desire, and that's in your house too, because you got like Venus and all those things there. Then the number 44. To gather, flow together, Father, God's gift, God is Father, circuit, be fresh, young lamb, to lay down, let down, bring forth, bear, lay eggs, beget, a spark. So you got some messianic stuff going on with that. And that's like the high number. That's like a Barack Obama was the 44th president. And you notice you got that with Uranus and Venus. So me personally, that has something to do with childbearing, because you got Uranus and you got Venus, and Venus is like the mother, and Uranus is representing that spark, because that's what Uranus does. Uranus is like that spark that sets it off. It's the rebel. So like Tupac said, I'm a spark that's gonna start the fire, but Tupac was known for being a rebel. So I believe that's a direct relationship to your to childbearing. All right, let me see if there's any other numbers, because I believe we already did 10. Okay, so that's it for that. So now your 5th house is connecting you to your 11th house, connecting you to your 8th house. So what I'm going to do first is Aquarius in the 5th house. In fact, let's do Mars in the 5th house. And it's funny, it takes you right to India. It takes you all the Hindu websites. Yup. I could get past it. Oh, good. But I don't want that. I want Mars in the, did I say Mars in the 5th house? Alright, I'm going to try a couple of things. Alright. Celebrities with, this is sunsigns.org. Celebrities with Mars in the 5th house: Jennifer Lopez, James Dean, Charles Manson. I wouldn't consider Charles Manson a celebrity. Pamela Anderson, Mel Gibson, Zayn Malik. Keywords for Mars in the 5th house: active, fun-loving, competitive, challenging, exciting, brash, boisterous, infectious. You work hard, you play harder, you stop at nothing to extract everything that the world has to offer. While this may make you an exciting person to be around, you can also be a little too much to handle. Isn't it obvious, as Leo is the ruling sign of this house? You put all your efforts and energy into pleasure, even when it comes to your work. You need to be doing something that gives you plenty of enjoyment. And if you aren't, then you can be a bear to deal with. You are constantly striving for the perfect balance, so that takes you back to Libra, or having fun and overcoming adversity. You love a challenge and are very competitive, which fuels your need for constant excitement. Positive traits of Mars in the 5th house. You're fun-loving and playful, so let people see that side of you instead. Because you are so boisterous, you make other people want to follow in your lead or join you in whatever activity you're doing. Your enthusiasm is infectious, and you really play it up to get the most out of any experience. Make sure to use your talents and enthusiasm for good. Treat your loved ones with dignity and respect, and they will follow you to the ends of the earth. Practice discipline and rein in your more destructive tendencies, or at least alter them into a more constructive outcome. This will get you much further in life than your charisma alone. You have to be able to let go of your more childish ways and explore your desire to improve yourself and the lives of others. Negative traits of Mars in the 5th house. People love taking risks and automatically take the lead without anyone asking. Sometimes this works to your advantage, but you have to be careful not to come across as a bully. Because you are so brash and direct, people can easily take offense to your bold nature. Dial it back a bit if you see people getting uncomfortable or uneasy in your presence. You can be manipulative. You can be manipulative. You can be manipulative. I'm going to try that. I just don't like the way it sounded. You can be manipulative. Manipulative. You can be manipulative to get others to get along with your ideas and desires, and that's not fair to those around you. Your melodrama, while sometimes fun or silly, can also be hurtful or distracting. Your pursuit of the ultimate in pleasure can be harmful to your relationships, especially in the romance department. You get restless easily and are always looking for the next great thing. So long-term commitment is tough for you. Find out more. Okay, so we got that. Now this one is astromatrix.org. Mars in the 5th house. With Mars in the 5th house, you are likely to exert your energy and initiative in actively pursuing a rewarding love life, social amusements, and pleasure in general. You have a likable, competitive, and flamboyant temperament. There is a desire for creative endeavor, because that is the house of creation as well. The 5th house and the 3rd house are both creative houses. Strenuous sports, athletes, risk-taking pursuits, and other forms of muscular exercise. This is cafeastrology.com. You have a strong love of pleasure, and you tend to directly and perhaps impulsively pursue romance. Many of you are sports lovers, and anything with an element of risk appears to you entertain you. You put a lot of energy in the pursuits of entertainment, satisfaction, games, and pleasure. You may be a very active hobbyist. You tend to be very playful and demonstrative, and you could easily enjoy putting on a show. You can be very competitive. Your children may be especially active and boisterous. You're openly affectionate. Like an engaging puppy, you wheedle to get your way. If an old slipper is torn in the process, you know you'll be forgiven. You'll shine in physical contact sports. Your many friends admire you, but relationships suffer because you change partners often. Discipline is a hard but necessary taskmaster, and if you are to grow beyond the child that is no longer charming, but becomes a foolish adult, clinging to childish ways. Right? So that's Mars in the 5th house, but now we want Aquarius in the 5th house. And remember, this is your true north node. This is your purpose in this life. That's the true north node. Looks like that horseshoe with the aura. Aquarius in the 5th house. And who's in your 8th house? So let's go ahead and take care of that. Taurus in the 8th house. And then Taurus is going to take you right back to that 2nd house. And your 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. Now remember, we told you everything that's in this 8th house, everything with Scorpio and Pluto in the 1st house. So that's where you would go back to the 1st house to get all that information. Because it's definitely going to affect your life. It is affecting your life. So this is definitely a lot of pleasure. A lot of pleasure and a lot of 8th house activity. And a lot of money, it looks like. All right. Now let me just... All right. Now this is Astrology Club, Aquarius in the 5th house. Because Aquarius is the community or people sign. Friends, association, groups, community. With Aquarius in the 5th house, you experience great joy and find much entertainment in groups or collaborative activities or by interacting with others socially. You may also find that your recreation time may be centered around the latest and greatest technological advances. If there is anyone who would host a lively gathering of friends, it would be someone with this Aquarius placement. You tend to seek out social circles that are all about fun, lightness, and oddities. The stranger the bunch, the more fun there is to be had. You aren't apt to go out on a date with a normal person or gather a group of standard entertainment types. You seek out unusual recreational activities or create them yourselves. The stranger the better, the bigger the group to share that bizarre experience with, the better. Now, I do have to warn you, a lot of times when you see Mars in the fifth house, because that's a child house too, there could be issues with children. And especially when you see Capricorn in the fourth house, because that's the disciplinarian. So just be careful, because if you want oneness with the universe and you don't want bad karma that's going to follow you for lifetimes to come, you don't mistreat kids. Now, Aquarius on the crux of the fifth house is a location of Aquarius which can stimulate the creative qualities. Aquarius can be the most creative sign of the zodiac, so that is good. And a creative house is good to have Aquarius. Aquarius can be the most creative sign of the zodiac, for they are never satisfied with the status quo of anything, because they get that from their ruler Uranus, and Uranus is a rebel. Uranus does not like the status quo. Always seeing how things can be better, the changes that can be wrought, always advance their thinking. The future is always with them, so the location of Aquarius in the fifth house stimulates the creative quality with the Aquarian. And this is again your true life purpose, your true north node. Whether it is in poetry or literature or building a home on any kind of philosophical or psychological endeavor, this creativity is extremely pronounced in the Aquarian here in the fifth house. Of course, by direct reaction to the 11th house, and the 11th house is your south node or your past life. This must also demonstrate itself in the manner in which the Aquarius relates to life, to the type of friends with whom he associates, and especially with himself. This is the area which could bring in a sort of idealistic love association. This could be the area of a person who would advocate free love type of existence. One quality or characteristics of Aquarius could exhibit itself. They could be very much and very strangely involved in love affairs or sexual experiences, or they could be ascetic, the hermit, the monk, the one who negates the human factor of certain physical desires. Aquarians in the fifth house will make good parents, but they tend also in educational endeavors of children to stress the more advanced theories of education, feeling that the child should only pursue those things in which he is interested. Again, this emphasizes that the Aquarian in the fifth house must be practical, that there are things that children have to learn for their own good. They could want children to be too free to make their decisions too early in life. And that might be why they put Capricorn more serious in the fourth house, so that the person doesn't just have the kids, hey, just live in love, just love. Because, that's up for arguments, but bills do have to be paid. But some people do believe trust in the spirit to do that. So that's one of those arguments. The progressive type of education would appeal to the Aquarian on the crust of the fifth house, not realizing that perhaps some of the old knowledge, the old techniques, are still valid. The Aquarian on the fifth house is not a gambler per se, but they certainly gamble with life. The ideal of gambling never really occurs to them. All right, so you got that. So your true north node is that Aquarian with that Mars energy, progressively moving forward. Now we're gonna do your eighth house. Because when you do, this is for sexual astrology. When you do Aquarius in the 5th house, they give you Taurus in the 8th house. And again, Taurus in the 8th house is still about finances and assigning value and possessions, but it's also very sensual. And your 8th house has to do a lot with power struggles, just like I told you in the 1st house. It can deal with jealousy, power struggles, envy. So you got to be very aware. And then when you're dealing with Taurus at a lower octave, you're dealing with stubbornness. So that's a lot of problems. That could be a lot of problems too. And again, a lot of people are different because some people have to have drama. And that's why you have to be very careful, because it's easy to tell like people or two people, hey, you guys got to stop that. But some people like drama, and that's what makes their relationship work. So you really, you got to keep everything open with a grain of salt. All right, now we're going to go back to Aquarius in your 5th house again, but now we're talking about sex. When Aquarius is in the sign of your 5th house, love, sex, and dating will be highly unconventional. You might be a rebel in love and challenge all the traditional dating rules, preferring instead to make your own. Aquarius in the 5th house will also bring a highly charged mental energy to the love and sex life. You might enjoy online dating, and that's what I was kind of seeing in your 3rd house. That's kind of what came to my mind. You might enjoy online dating, electronic sex toys, and even communicating with your lover using the latest technological gadgets. If you have Aquarius in your 5th house, a sexual relationship might be erratic, or you might fall in love with a very unusual person who is a visionary in some way. And it's kind of like that's kind of going on in the 3rd house. The 9th house can also be the sign of a mentor. It's usually somebody either wiser than you in certain areas or older than you. But that's the 9th house ruled by Sagittarius. There could be a sudden breakup and sudden affairs in Aquarius if Aquarius is in your 5th house, but you'll likely enjoy shaking your love life up every now and then. For you, love and sex must always have a little taste of rebellion. So that's what I was saying. Some people like that. So you can't really tell somebody don't, because that's how they relate to each other. Now, here it is. Taurus in the 8th house. And this is what they're saying. Now, this is sex. Let me get the website. Sexualastrology.com. Aquarius in the 5th house. Taurus in the 8th. Admit it, the smell of money turns you on. If Taurus is the sign in the crust of your 8th house, then your approach to intimate love and sexual encounters will be more practical and materially oriented. A partner with the means to please your body in a physical and material way will be the doorway to intimacy for you. If Taurus is in your 8th house, your relationship will be deeply sensual, and you'll easily surrender your soul to all bodily pleasures. You thrive in love and sex if the relationship is monogamous with Taurus in the 8th house. In addition, you'll use the physical act of sex as a vehicle for learning how to achieve emotional intimacy more than most if Taurus is in your 8th house. Raw, physical, earthly, and lusty sex that's not complicated is what you yearn for. Lying in your lover's arms after you've moved mountains together is all you need to feel deeply transformed. And remember, everything goes on in the 8th house. But we already covered that. And that is also where you're going to meet this person. You're going to have a significant meeting, a significant event, possibly a significant coming together, a significant breakup. Any of these things might happen because of that cross. That's the vertex. It could be a soulmate relationship. Now, in your 12th, so your 8th and 12th house, those are your most mystical houses, I would say. The darker houses, the soul houses. So that's in your 12th house. You see Juno that looks like an asterisk. Again, that could be a serious relationship or a soulmate. The reason why I was kind of saying it's a soulmate because it's in your 12th house. And definitely when you're looking at 8th house, that would definitely be a soulmate. Could be the same person, could be a different person, but I'm assuming it's the same person, at least the same energy. It's going to be dealing with earthy. This is a down to earth type person. earthy. Because you got to remember, she's not so down to earth. She's out there. And that down to earth energy is coming through Virgo and Taurus to kind of help her. Not necessarily be down to earth, but she has that Lilith stuff going on that's dangerous. Why? Because one side of her is saying, sure, great, I totally agree. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. And the other side of her is pissed off that it's going down that way because she feels slighted. So you can't really go too far with that. You have to get a better grip, learn how to communicate better. All right, so now we can do this is called your present life purpose and your past life purpose. It's your true north node in Aquarius. The name of this website is called the Soulmate Site. The Soulmate Site. You put your true north node and then you say whatever sign it is. True north node Aquarius. The life theme of Aquarius is I know. The soul color is blue. Now she's going to give you 3 steps to attract your soulmate. Step 1, appreciate your Leo talents. So she's already going to your South node, which is your past life. Inspired leadership and sunny outlooks comes naturally for you. The first step in claiming your North node in Aquarius. See, I think in your past life, you were a leader. You were encouraging other people to enjoy life and have fun and be childlike and all that. So that was your South node, the 11th house. But now in this life, the 5th house, they're encouraging you to encourage, like how you encourage everybody in your past life. They're telling you to now encourage you. Not saying you can't encourage your children or your partner, but just that they want you to be more, that same energy you use in a past life for other people, they're telling you now. Because I think you were really great at helping other people enjoy their lives. But now they're telling you have to do the same thing for yourself. Okay, we're going to go back. Step 1, appreciate your Leo talents. Because it represents your karmic past. Celebrate your enthusiasm, sunny side, your ability to create love, affair to remember. Enjoy making others laugh and being an entertainer at heart. Rivet others with your passion and creative vision. Enjoy the limelight and value the ease with which you express yourself. But again, don't get too comfortable, because most people are comfortable with their South node and they're not comfortable with the true North node. The South node is past life, so you don't want to get too comfortable. So that's your first step to attracting your soulmate. Being around people and being fun. Just like you were in a past life. But this is to attract your soulmate. But for your own soul purpose, you want to make sure that you also know how to make yourself fun as well. Or you allow somebody in your life that helps you have fun. Now, own your Leo karma. This is step 2 to attract your soulmate. Be careful of being bossy, needing too much attention, or being a drama queen. So with the North node, she always writes this the wrong way. This is how she should write it, because it can get confusing. Because she's talking about your South node, your past life, but she always writes North node, because that is what we're focusing on. But right now you're talking about the South node. So let's get this correct. With your South node in Leo, we're looking at how you handle the spotlight and relationships in a past life. If you were famous, were you humble about it or arrogant? In relationships, did you treat your loved ones kindly, or did you rule over them? Have you been accused of being bossy? Do you secretly feel others should serve you? Or do you know someone like this? So she's saying this is stuff you got to work on, because in a past life, and that sounds like Lilith, that Lilith retrograde. What about me? Yeah, I'm going to say what you want me to say, but that's not how I really feel. What about me? You keep talking about this. Well, I don't know. And the crazy thing is, because of all that Lilith, that Libra energy, she'll actually be the one that's setting up all this togetherness and let's work together and let's do this as a team. But then the Lilith is going, no, what about me? So that's that battle. We told you it was a past life issue. Now you're seeing that issue in your 11th house with maybe Leo wanting to be a little too bossy or whatever. That could have been a possibility. Now, in a past lifetime, you may have been a performer, a gambler, or a childlike adult who have refused to grow up. And they keep saying that. You may have been royalty, tended by servants you treated poorly. You may have needed the limelight so much you trampled others to get it, or you may have been a risk taker who gambled away a fortune. Have you created bosses or partners with the king or queen complex? So they said your 11th house is showing you your shadow side. And that's what Pluto is dealing with in your 1st and 12th house. This shadow side of Leo has to do with abusing one's position over lifetimes. It also resists being as part of humanity as a whole and resists being in a relationship where the both of you are equals. And that's why you got all that Libra, because that is what you got to do this time. You've got to do it. You've got to learn how to work as Libra, balanced, equal. And it can't be no secret stuff and still trying to push your will in the background. Step 3, to attract your soulmate. So this person comes in, they're really going to try to help you. And it might be your tendency to not, or pick and choose. But they're saying you're going to have to learn how to talk with this person and really be equal. Mutual communication. If you come to an agreement, you really mean it, stick to it. If you got problems, talk about it, communicate it, as opposed to just going out and doing what you want to do secretly. So now, your step 3 to attract your soulmate. Step into your Aquarius soul mission, the true north node. Champion equality. Find a cause that is meaning to you. Explore mind, body, spirit. Wear electric blue, because that is your soul color. So you're a visionary for humanity. It values friendships, is inventive, and dedicated to serving the society as a whole. Be a social advocate, an intellect, a scientist whose passion is channeled for the greater good. You are to be a model for all that is new and progressive, and part of your life may be spent active in groups that desire to bring about change. So in past lives, you were like a leader. Like I said, and I see it on your chart now. You had riches. You were up there. But she's saying in this life, they're trying to tell you to take on the perspective of a common person and channel your creativity into an ideal or invention that will benefit all. She said the internet is Aquarium. So more than any other sign, the internet might be a great way to attract your soulmate, which I think you may have already done. Now, if internet dating isn't your thing, get online and join groups that mean something to you. Or do this in person in the real world, if you prefer. It's possible that your soulmate may be a friend first. And that's what I'm kind of seeing too. So when your soulmate does come into your life, maintain equality in your relationship and be best friends. Use this to be your base and then add romance. So she's saying friends first. She says also with a North Node Aquarius in relationships, anything goes. Open marriage, this is what she's saying. Open marriages, swing lifestyles, together but not living together is all good. You can have any relationship structure you choose. Just make sure that you play fair and both of you want it equally. So she's telling you don't try no underhanded, dirty stuff. Because that's what you're not supposed to do in this life. The house where your Aquarius soul mission expresses itself is the area of life where you are meant to participate in the evolutionary change of humanity. All right, very interesting. Okay, first house, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house covered, eighth house covered, 11th house, The only thing we didn't say is that Hook, look like Captain Hook, that is Kira's, and that's all about nurturing. So a leader among friends, but also you're a nurturer. Like you're helping them, like a mother that says, "Oh, I know how to make my kid feel better," and they just take the kid out and all day long they're just playing with the kid and everything. And now the kid comes home and they have all this energy, whereas before they were all depressed and didn't have energy and they were walking around moping with their lips poked out. So now they take them out and go all out and have fun with activities, or take them to like Chuck E. Cheese or something, flipping around on her. Now the kid, so that's you in the 11th house. You're making all these people feel great. But that's also what you did. So you're like a mother nurturer in those areas. But just don't be too tough on your own kids, because they gotta have fun too. If you do it right, because you're a naturally fun person, so just balance it out. Because I understand you say, well, I want them to have structure and everything, but you don't want them to be too. They got to be balanced out. The balance between having knowing when to play and knowing when to work. All right. See, now there goes your 6th house is Virgo. We already told you what's in the 6th house is ruled by Virgo, all about health and service. And there goes Pisces. So this is about service. Pisces can sometimes mean unconditional love, but it's also spiritual. So that's helping you with your 12th house. Your 6th house is also helping you with your 12th house, because they're trying to make you become a more spiritual person. And that person you're going to be in a serious relationship with will be a spiritual person. And they will be a spiritual healer. And they will have a lot of virgin energy, the Virgo, which is really Mother Mary, or the divine feminine, the motherly energy. And they also work with Vesta, the asteroid Vesta. All right, so your final house for this natal chart is Aries in the 7th house. Now Chiron, that K, is retrograde. That means you have some type of past life healing that didn't heal in relationships, and it's because of an Aries. See, because it's really messed up, because Aries is the 1st house. It rules the 1st house, but Aries is about I am. And this time in your Aries, the 1st house, they put Libra. Libra is about 2 people working together. So this I am is not going to work, because the 7th house is about Libra. It's about relationships. And then the moon makes it very emotional, very romantic, but it goes deep inside of you. And it's also motherly and nurturing. And I think your moon is at 10 as well. So whatever we said about, see, your sun and your moon are both at 10. We already said what numerology of 10 is. Now, that little circle with the X, that's part of fortune. All part of fortune does is amplify whatever it's around. Now, Aries in the 7th house ain't going to work, because one person's trying to be the leader. And your whole chart is saying you got to work together. So there's something going on. So that's indicating, to me anyway, it's indicating something. There will be relationship problems, because that Aries energy has got to be brought to we, not I am, but we are. And that's why you have hard to heal in this area, because possibly in a past life, either you or your mate was I am, and the relationship didn't work. And maybe that's why your Lilith is retrograde, because she's like, wow, I tried to give this guy my love, and it really hurt me. Because Lilith is like that. Lilith, see, they say Lilith is wicked, but the fact of the matter is, this is all that really happened. Adam had too much testosterone. Adam said, lay down and let me have sex with you. And she said, no, you lay down and let me have sex with you. And so Adam didn't want to do it. So Lilith said, well, if you think you're just going to have sex with me and I don't have any say in it, then we're not having sex. What Lilith wanted was love. It's not all that. It's just like that woman scorned. Like, she could have been the greatest woman in the world. She might have been the best everything, but then the guy breaks her heart, and now she's a psychopath. That's not fully her fault. That's his fault. So that's more like me, because I'm really connected to the feminines, all the goddesses, all the saints, all the females. And Lilith is cool. Lilith is not a problem. She's like love. And like I've always had women around me, and you can see that evil. You can really see that evil, but at the end of all that evil, they still want to be loved. And that's Lilith. So that's what's up with that. This will end this this natal chart. It was a fabulous natal chart, very, very informative. Now, as far as phone consultation, because I have a phone consultation on this chart as well. At least we have a better understanding of it, so I can maybe talk through the chart a little bit. Which made it a little bit easier was almost all those planets were in one house, which made it easier to go through the chart. They weren't all spread out, but it's interesting, very interesting. Okay, again, I still got a sale going on. It's like 3 more days, but I'm always trying to have some type of sale going on. But this is the best sale. You just saw how a natal chart is done. You're not going to get this nowhere on Earth at all. Nobody's on a natal chart like I just did, that thorough, for just the $20. So that's good. And you get 3 angel cards. But this sale is just about over. So just letting you know, for anybody that hears this video, if you want to do it now, because you won't get that price in the future. And I'm doing this because of September 23rd. September 23rd is all about the divine feminine, the Virgin, Virgo. If you guys heard about September 23rd, and that is your divine mother or Mother Mary, who is really Isis or the divine feminine. So we're doing all these special things for her as well. She is our mother. Alrighty, any other questions? Because I still got I got a whole list of services I offer. Anything intuitive, numerology, name numerology, birthday numerology, address numerology, anything that's intuitive, I do. I do the angel card readings. We do phone consultations. I do research. So it's there. You have a list, and you could always ask as well, because I'll probably do it if you ask. But either way, some people just get started. That information is right there, the PayPal link. God bless.